Hey, so Lawrence, I hear you have a story about travelling to Australia.
Yes, this was actually the first time I went to Australia, and we went to a restaurant. We came by in our car, and we stopped, and we saw that somebody was actually painting the veranda of the restaurant, and we asked whether the restaurant was open, and he said no, he was only going to open it in 3 days' time. We said, oh, you're opening a new restaurant, so what did you do before? And he told us that he had been a farmer, and he had something like 10,000 cattle, and that they had all died. The cows had all died. He had to shoot them from a helicopter. I'd never heard something like that before. And this was after a long drought, so it hadn't rained in Australia for a long time. And then I said, well, when was that? And I expected him to say something like 6 years ago or 7 years ago or something. And he said, didn't you hear? This was 3 months ago. And I was really surprised. So there was this guy who had had a farm. Only 3 months ago, he had to shoot all his cattle. And here he was opening a new restaurant, so changing his life completely from being a farmer to a restaurant owner.
So this doesn't usually happen in Germany?
To be quite honest, almost all my family are farmers. If something like that, God forbid, happened to them, I don't think they would get their act together and do something completely different. To be honest, I think in Germany you cannot even do that. We are not flexible enough for that. Whereas perhaps in Australia, even if you were very rich before and if you were a big landowner, maybe you cannot sit back for even a couple of years. So maybe beneath the surface, some of the structures are simply different in Australia and in Germany. But I was really impressed that this guy was so flexible and turned into an entrepreneur so quickly.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Very proud of him. So what do you think can be learnt from this story?
I do notice that from the outside, as Germans, when we go to Australia, we have the impression this is really the country where people can give up something and shake themselves and start all over and